Welcome to another episode of the Oral Histories of Pirate Stew. For this episode, I'm going to tell the story of along the lines of how I met your mother. This is the story of how I met Wench Lori. So I actually met Wench Lori for the first time when I was visiting her at the time husband, which was one of my co-workers. I know it sounds exciting and complicated all right off the bat, right? So at any rate, I worked with a guy and went to his house, and he had a wife and two little kids, and I really didn't pay much attention to her or the kids, no interest whatsoever. I was a young single guy, and I had my own stuff to worry about, and I was just kind of there being polite. Because back in the day, that's what you did. You went to co-workers' houses and you socialized a little bit, right? Nowadays, if you try to go to a co-worker's house, they'll call the cops and have you arrested for stalking or something. It's weird. Anyway, but back in the day, back in the 80s, late 80s, that was standard. So at any rate, didn't pay too much attention. I'd seen her a couple times at the house. And then one night I'm out at the club, the Airmen's Club at Brooks Air Force Base, and a lady, wife of another co-worker I knew was there, and her and Wench Lori were there. They were partying up, having drinks, and come to find out, she was getting a divorce. And again, I was young, single, so we started chatting a little bit and started having a few drinks. And at the time, I was driving a 1963 Chrysler Newport with a push-button transmission. You change gears on the dash just like you did the radio. At any rate, I was telling her about it, and she wanted to go see it. So we get in it. We're driving up down Southwest Military Drive, which again in the late 80s was the strip. Everybody drove up and down there. We drag raced back and forth, stoplight to stoplight. That's other stories. I got pulled over and some other trouble about doing that. But at any rate, we were just cruising up down, looking at all the cars and all the people out, and they'd get in the parking lots and have tailgate parties and stuff along that Southwest Military Drive. And I had it on the oldie station, which I believe was Kono, Kono, I think was the oldie station there in San Antonio. And I told her, I said, 1963 Chrysler, the radio, that's the only station that'll play, and she was, even today, she's into like all the spooky ghost stuff. So I think that kind of got her attention. At any rate, we drove up and down and ended up going back to my place, and the rest of it's history. But that's kind of how I met Wench Lori. Alright, so that concludes today's oral history of Pirate Stew. If there's something you got a question about or a story you'd like to hear, let me know. I'll see if I can get it into the episode. Otherwise, I truly expect to hear from no one. And again, maybe 20, 30 years from now, my grandkids might watch some of these, but just not expecting a whole lot of viewership. But who knows? I could be wrong. There may be people out there just dying to hear stupid stories from a stupid pirate. So if that's you, thanks for watching. Comment below what you liked about the story, or what you'd like to hear in a future story, or any questions. And we'll see you during the next episode of the Oral Histories of Pirate Stew. And probably other people too.